Hello and welcome, beautiful soul, to another episode of Permission to Follow Your Inner GPS, your inner guided purpose soul path. When you raise your vibe and you are able to tune in and tap into your intuitive gifts and skills, and you get more clarity about what your purpose is, then you can dig deeper and find the courage and determination to follow your own GPS. Today we have the beautiful Kathleen Ann, who is known as the Money and Marketing Mentor. She works with heart-centered women entrepreneurs and enlightened men to help them change what they're worth. She's certified in Kendall Summerhawks on both money marketing and soul and sacred money archetypes. I am familiar with Kendall Summerhawk and she's amazing. So please help us welcome the beautiful Kathleen Ann from Down Under. Hello, gorgeous. Thank you for being with us today.
Oh, I'm so pleased to be here. Hello, everybody.
Yes, hello, everybody. Please, beautiful, tell us a little bit more about yourself and how you got to where you are.
Well, I have a few stripes. I've earned those along the way, so it's a bit of a long journey. I suppose if I were to go back in my career, I was in corporate. I worked in financial services and I was in a managerial position. And about 7 years in, I got what I call the Don't Come Monday invitation. So we call that retrenchment here. I think you say laid off in America. So I was very happy about that. There were people in the company, it was downsizing and so on. And some people weren't happy, but I was happy. I was ready for a change. So I was also going over to Europe for a 5-week holiday the following week. So the timing was good for me. So off I went, not having to come back to the JOB, but I really didn't know what I was going to do. So I actually did have a lovely holiday. I came back and that was when I got interested in golf. I actually bought a set of golf clubs and played around for about 6 months, deciding what to do. I really still hadn't any idea. And the longer that went, the more I thought I can't go back into that corporate situation. It didn't really fit anymore. So I had this bright idea that I would start a business. I had some ups and downs at the start, but eventually I found my way and do what I do now. So it was 35 years or so ago now when that occurred. Maybe 30, can't think, time flies.
Well, how did you get through some of those ups and downs?
Well, this was the thing, I suppose. It was, I suppose if I even went back further than that, and you speak to the fact of just reaching into yourself, you just find the way. And I think it's really trust yourself, even when things seem like there's no way forward or no easy way. And I'm all for easy. I don't really want things to be hard. So it's just, okay, what am I going to do? And I think that things open up when you ask the right questions. So if I went back earlier than my career, the reason I got into my career, I went back in as in a very regular situation. I was just a clerical assistant, really, into that position that I'd worked my way up into management. I got into that position because I had lived interstate. I was married with 2 young children. They were 2 and 4. My husband was violent, I suppose, is the best way to explain that. And I needed to get away. So I actually had to get away. So I went just with my 2 kids, came back into my own state in Australia, and I needed to get a job. Interestingly, my mum, I obviously needed a roof over my head as well. So I spent the first couple of days, back at home with my little ones and figuring out what to do. And I think back, my stepdad, he was a gorgeous man, but he was a bit pessimistic, I have to say. So he was reading the newspaper, the daily bad news. And he said to me, do you know there are 10,000 unemployed people in New South Wales? And I've gone, actually 10,001 because I just got here. They didn't count me. And then he's, this is literally exactly childcare. He's turning the page and he's going, oh, childcare, childcare is impossible. You're not going to get the kids into childcare without, you've got to get them in before you're even expecting them. And I've gone, it's okay. I'm sure there will be childcare places. And I'll get a job, so I'll be able to, pay for childcare. That's not a problem. Then he's gone, well, housing. There's no housing, and he's thinking public housing. Of course, he's, didn't have a job and when he didn't have any money. So off I go then to think next day, I'm going to get a job. That's what I need to do. And I went to an employment agency, and in fact, I ended up at the end of that day with 3 job offers. That's where my intuition kicked in. I thought the most awkward one appealed to me. For whatever reason, it just was the one that I thought, that's the one that I think would be better. But it meant I had to take 2 forms of transport to get there and back every day, etc. So anyway, I'm on my way to the interview for these positions on that very day. And I went to the bus stop, and there at the bus stop was a childcare place that had vacancies. So I went in there before I even went for the interviews, and I booked my children into childcare for the next week. And that job done, there's childcare taken care of. When I came back from those interviews and I'm contemplating which job I was going to take, I saw 4 units they were. On the top right-hand side, one of them, to let sign. And it was just a 1-bedroom unit. I rang, I went to the phone box. I didn't have a phone. I went to the phone box and I rang, and I said to the agent, I want to rent that flat, starting Saturday. So in those days, I didn't even have to put in an application. He said, you're in.
Well, how did you get started in your business? You said you left, or you got a don't come back Monday note. But what made you decide, or how did you get to be the money mindset coach?
Yeah, exactly. So what happened when I got invited out of the job that I did take way back then with the little kids, that's the one that I progressed up in my career.
Okay.
And from there, that eventually, in that industry, not that exact job, but in that industry, because I just grew in the positions. I got into another company, and I set up the whole division that I had learned through my previous one. Then I got headhunted to another one, and it was from there that I left and decided, I've done all this, I may as well build something for myself. So going into there, I still started in my business working in corporate, because that was my skill set. That was where my profile was. I was known there. But it was a very rocky road. Pitching for business in corporate meant you'd get a big gig, and then I was a solopreneur. I still am. And that was then having to fulfill those roles. It was strenuous and lots of up and downs. So then I was just poodling around on the internet, and this is where, once again, things come to you when you're thinking, well, this isn't working out so well. What will I do now? And I just clicked on testimonial. In fact, I was on a website. I was doing a program, and I happened to see this testimonial, and that was Kendall Summerhook's testimonial for some other person. And I just clicked on there, and I looked and went, wow, this is really interesting. She was running a 3-day program in the States. And I said to my husband, this is really, really interesting. And this lady, she's a cowgirl. She doesn't have children. She's got horses, but she's talking my talk. And I said, she's got this program running in a few weeks over in the States. And he said, you should go. And I thought, oh, I should go. When I was looking there, I hadn't thought I should go. But the minute he said that, I went, I should go. And I did. So that's when I began, certifying in the programs that I work with, because what I do with my clients is around marketing. And in the early days, that was the whole process around there. And there was also elements of money mindset. And subsequent to that, I took a second certification, which is in sacred money archetypes. And that's what I do now. I combine, and sometimes I do just the money work, especially for women. Charging what you're worth is a big ask for women to hold their hands up.
Yes, it is. It is a big ask, especially when a lot of what we do isn't always tangible. It's from the inside, it's the mindset, it's the beliefs, it's the reprogramming, and kind of have a reset button. What is one of the ways, how is it that you work with your clients?
Okay, so most of my clients, and in fact now, as I say, I work with enlightened men. I market to women, but the men, the enlightened men, they want to bring themselves to their business as well. I find men want to show up and be who they are. So I'm all about authenticity. So how I work with clients, they have service-based businesses, and often they're selling them time. Someone will say, and how much do you charge? And whatever the hourly rate is, they'll blurt that out, and then they're stuck with that. So there's only so many hours in the day. So what I help people understand is if they took the services, and mostly it's the services they're already doing now, and put them into a system, which I call a signature system. I help them construct their services into a program. It's almost productizing their services so they can almost hold that out in front of somebody and say, would you like to buy this? And this is the journey that you take your clients on from where they are to where they want to be. And I help them work through the steps they need to put into place so that they can take their clients down that path. A lot of people
would you share with us at least one of the obstacles that most of your clients have in common so that our viewers can get a taste of and maybe resonate or find themselves in this similar situation or mindset?
Yeah, so often people would, because we're talking services here, so people would say, oh, well, we'll have a consultation and we'll figure out what it is that you need, and I'll let you know whether that's something I can do for you. Then I'll go away and put together a proposal and then I'll come back and put that before you, and then we'll decide if we're going to work going forward. Well, it's like a magical mystery tour, and it's really hard for people to buy that. So this is the thing people have in common. I help them understand that people don't want to buy their time. They want to buy the solution to their problem. A lot of times those people haven't decided what the specific problem is as the prospective client is experiencing it. So I help them understand that and then articulate that so they can say to that person, if I see you are having this issue, and I have this program that can solve that. And I can take you through my steps and then put you out the other end, cured, healed, whichever the outcome is. And that's where people feel I can understand and buy into that. And they're happy then to step up and pay. And there is a price point for that. That's the thing. People then want to undercharge. I help them understand it's the value they deliver, not what they do, or how long it takes. The quicker, the better.
Yes, the quicker the better. So please share with us at least one of your own challenges. How did you get through the ups and downs? It took more than a trip to the States and a 3-day conference. So can you be a little more specific as to at least one challenge or obstacle that you worked through yourself?
Yeah. So the biggest challenge, and it's the one that I see a lot of people having, is getting your first client.
Okay.
Yeah, when you get somebody to pay you, like having come from corporate where I had my salary, went into my bank account every month, no matter what I did, I might have got bonuses along the way. But when you are holding your hand out and getting paid yourself, that's that very moment somebody pays you for your effort that you've created and given them the result that you've done. That's the big breakthrough. So there is the challenge, how much to charge. And I undercharged like everybody else. And this was my challenge, getting clients and then beginning to work with those clients and not really seeing that I'm going to have a good business and a good income. So there really was my challenge to raise my prices. So how I went around doing that is take only the first 3 clients at the price point, and then raise your prices. Next 3 clients at that price point, raise your prices. And it's amazing.
But how did you get the money? Yes, that's a technique and that's a strategy, and I've learned that as well. But there's a lot more that goes into that. What was the mindset that you had to get through for yourself in order to even do that?
Okay, so one of the beliefs, and we call them obviously the negative beliefs, because I had a very good corporate career and I did have a very good salary, I had the mindset that I would not be able to create my income, charge what I was paid when somebody else paid me. So my mindset was I felt that I would not be able to charge that equivalent, if you like. So that was difficult. And I think that was the big thing that however I got through that thinking process and I ditched that belief, I thought, well, where did that come from? I don't believe it, but why is it that I'm holding myself and charging? That was a very big breakthrough. You never know which is that little thing lurking. So, if we just being aware of certain things and replacing them. So it was working on myself constantly and through that process. And it's like the layers of a artichoke, peeling them back until you get to the heart of the matter. No onions, no crying, no needed. Just keep on working and unpacking this bit by bit. And then that's the process really, is to catch yourself, either because often we don't know what we're thinking, that's all subconscious, but when you say something or you hear somebody else say something about money and value, challenge it. Where'd that come from? Is that true? Well, it certainly isn't true that I can't replace the income that somebody else would be prepared to pay me, because now my pricing is equivalent to the value that I deliver, and I feel justified because of the difference that I make. I help my clients make more money. That's the bottom line. That's what I do.
So many people have come from corporate, not the majority maybe, but a lot of my featured guests have come from corporate. And the transition from that to being an entrepreneur and working for themselves can be quite an interesting, sometimes a bit of a rocky road. And yet part of their mindset is that they've already made XYZ, most often multiple 6 figures or at least 6 figures, and then trying to transition into working for themselves is interesting.
That's the journey. That's exactly what I was just explaining for me, and that's what I see. I see most people and I go, when you go out and you start your own business, why don't you start a business that brings you joy? Why don't you do what you love? Why don't you find a way that that's what you get to do every day? Because you've got to get up and do it every day. And often this is what happens. People come out of corporate. They're used to being, suited up, put their face on, putting themselves out there as a brand that they've been working under. And then when they get to set their own brand, show up and be themselves, they don't know who they are, or how they feel, how they want to be seen. So my expression around that is show up and be yourself. Every other job is taken. It's so easy to leave and be yourself. Don't make it hard. It shouldn't. That's another thing. How often do we hear business is hard? Business is hard. So I challenge people, if that's what we say, and we continue to say that, guess what we're going to get? It's going to be hard. It doesn't need to be hard. Don't do it.
Yes. So would you share with us at least one of the kinds of results that your, a specific, like a testimonial or something that your clients have said as a result of working with you? What kind of results do they get?
Okay. Do we have time to give a little case history?
A little what?
A little case history, what I did for a client.
A short one, yes.
Yeah. Okay. So because it's being able to charge more. Okay, so but you need to understand that you need to go to market with a better proposition. So one of my clients, she's a naturopath, working with health, and she positioned herself as the food intolerance expert. And as we began to work, I said to her, I'm wondering whether your clients understand what food intolerance is, and what is it that you really do. And if you're, asking people to hire you because they have a food intolerance, how do they know they've got one? In the marketing sense, they need to see their problem as they're experiencing it. What is happening? She said, oh, well, they've got a cooked gut from what they're eating. Ah, okay. So you heal the gut. That's what you do. She's got a little light bulb going off there. And I said to her, and then we were working on branding. So I've helped her understand that she's the good gut girl.
Oh, okay.
Not the food intolerance expert. And she heals the gut. And now she has a system, a program she takes her clients through to heal the gut. Yeah. So she also has 3 versions of that. The gutsy one, the gutsier one, and the gutsiest one.
Different levels of investment, different levels of
almost the do-it-yourself, the one where she helps online, and the one where you get her high care, high touch, and she's working, on a high level. So then, of course, she's able then to charge what she's worth. She is getting clients now because she's doing her thing. She's always doing, but now she's got all this to take to market. So, and now, of course, up goes her own self-worth, up goes everything about that. So once we work on that self-worth, we can charge what we're worth. But we need to set the systems up and the programs to be able to deliver that and continue to do the work that we're here to do. She's a healer. She can heal more people.
So you helped her and your other clients to get focused, just to kind of fine tune, not to change, but to help her become a little more recognizable and a little bit more understood with the language she was using.
Yeah, all of that. Yep, branding, the positioning, and sticking your stake in the ground. Claim your expertise. People hide out, especially women hide out. They don't feel that they feel like they're bragging, instead of understanding that if they don't market themselves and attract the clients they're here to help, either somebody else will, or those clients will be stuck with their issues. So get over yourself.
A lot easier said than done, because most women feel we need to have permission to do whatever it is that we're here to do, what we feel called to do. So that is I'm really happy that you're doing this work, because you're delivering not only a service, but you're helping others to realize their purpose, their inner GPS, and to be able to follow it, because the people who need them can find them.
Can find them. Yeah, absolutely can find them. And it's amazing what happens from there. You never really know quite which way the journey will go, and you really don't need to. You do have to get out of the driveway. You've got to get out there and just be open to receiving. That's the other thing, is that often, even though the intention is, or the desire is to do something, whatever is holding back, the sabotage, all the behaviours can kick in, and they're the things that are lurking in. Mostly it's in money mindset, and that's the area that I realise is the opening to everything, and it's incremental. Sometimes there's huge breakthroughs very quickly, but the work is never done. We're always more. There's always more. That's what I love. It's about how much more we're prepared to be, and the better we are, the better it gets, and the more we want to engage in that process. So that's what I really love. It's really absolutely about having people find their joy and live their life according to what they really desire, not what they feel they're stuck with.
And that's your superpower, is helping them figure that out if they don't know what it is. And if they do, to help them fine tune it and then get this out of their way.
Yeah.
Would you please tell our listeners how they can contact you?
Oh, sure. My website address is powerupyourmarketing.com. Yeah. And then did we have in the chat box the link for?
We do, but they're not going to see that.
Oh, okay. So let me let me just read that. So if we do the powerupyourmarketing.com/money hyphen breakthrough hyphen coaching. And on that page, you'll find a link where you can book in a 30-minute discovery session with me. And I'll help you understand what might be holding you back about how you think and feel about money and charging what you're worth.
And can they find you on social media too, beautiful?
Yeah, absolutely. So social media, you'll find me at LinkedIn.
Okay.
That's, yeah, Kathleen Ann. And by the way, Ann is my last name.
Okay.
Yeah. That's another long story. So Kathleen Ann is on LinkedIn, and you'll find me on Facebook.
Excellent.
And on Twitter.
And that's how Kathleen and I met, is through social media. So thank you so much for being with us and sharing your story and the case history. And beautiful soul, if you would, we have a free gift for you, Angels, Success, and Prosperity. Become a mover and shaker of your reality at angeldreamteam.com. And thank you so much, beautiful. I really appreciate your time.
And thank you so much. Been wonderful to be here. Thanks, Terry Marie.
You're welcome. Thank you, beautiful soul. See you next time.